What's happening, my beautiful people? My name is Mike LaBelle and welcome back to the YouTube channel. And today, we're talking about the new penalty kick system. If this is a video that you've requested, stop what you're doing, drop a thumbs up, hit me with a comment. If you have questions, ask below. We know how the YouTube system works. We're back in full effect this year. And in this video, I'm not only gonna cover how to take these new penalty kicks, or simply just explain the new system, but I'm actually going to cover what happens when you go to the bottom corner, the top corner, finesse shot, power shot, chip shot, all of the above. As we get into the clip examples, you guys need to know what's different about taking penalty kicks this year versus last year. And it starts with aiming, because in previous FIFA installments, you had sleight of hand, you could slightly hold to aim left, to aim right, and so forth and so on, or even a tap technique, which I've seen done, I've talked about it. However, in FIFA 20, you're going to actually have to hold the analog to aim where you're going. So it's no longer going to be a slight movement going left, slight movement going right. You are actually going to have to hold down diagonal, up diagonal, and so forth and so on. Gives you more options for aiming. I found the most effective, or the best bread and butter zone in terms of the power meter is around 2 bars, maybe slightly over 2 bars, just depending on what kind of risk taking you want to be a part of. Also, with any direct set pieces, so penalty kicks, you're obviously going directly to goal. Free kicks, the same situation. EA has now implemented time finishing to all of the above. So what that means is once you've powered up the meter, you've powered up the bar, you've aimed it, you can still hit the shooting command again right as your player is about to make contact. So identical to time finishing last year, they've just added that into the mix for set pieces. Obviously, you're supposed to get some level of an increase via power, via control, or accuracy, your validity, and we're gonna discuss that. Now the first set of penalty kicks, and I tested taking penalty kicks to the left side, to the right side, and in between. The low power. The low power is easily the most effective when you're weighing risk to reward, because the aiming portion, when you're going low and into the corners, I found to be pretty straightforward, very intuitive, where you use the analog stick, you're holding at a downward diagonal, and you're good to go. Relatively simple. You can't go under the goal. And the reason I'm stressing that you can't shoot under the goal is because if you're aiming for the top corner, you're trying to go top bins, you can easily put that over the goal. And I know people have been asking, and even for yours truly, I don't know at this point, but I'm assuming we're not going to be able to use the aiming cursor for penalty kicks in FUT Champions or competitive matches. I would be very surprised, even though EA's implemented this new feature, that you always have access to a cursor. Back to low power shots. We've talked about the aiming, where you're basically holding with a diagonal. Power meter, you're looking at about 2 bars, maybe slightly over 2 bars. And I also felt that you would get much better movement, almost a natural swing, if you went towards a player's dominant foot on his dominant side. So for a right footer, that would be going to the left. And you're gonna see this in the examples versus when you're shooting to the right with a right footer. It just doesn't have the same velocity, doesn't have the same movement. And I'm not doing anything different. It's just that natural motion when your player connects. And just to reiterate, going to your player's strong side just seems to give you a better chance of beating the goalkeeper if he guesses correctly. And I took a lot of penalty kicks, so this is not me just speaking on going through a couple rounds. If you were live on stream, we did this together, we talked about it. This is a first impression of what you need to know and how to put it together. If you're aiming for the top corners, the biggest difference is going to be aiming, because you're not able to hold basically down and into a diagonal. You can't do that in terms of aiming upward into those angles and holding it on a diagonal. Not with the same sense of ease, because remember, you can easily kick the ball over the post. And I really enjoyed the vibration side of everything, because it gave me a notification that I was going a little bit too far. And that's the best indicator of what's happening with your aiming. And then it's a lot about sensitivity. There's not going to be a sure proof way of always hitting it into the corner. It's almost going to come down to feel and getting used to this new system. Upward left on a diagonal, upward right on a diagonal. Obviously those are your top corners, but in terms of exactly getting it into the corner, not hitting the post, not putting it over, there's gonna be some sensitivity there, some intricacies, It makes sense. You with me? And if you know me well, I'm all about measuring percentages. And I'm not certain. I don't necessarily feel that you're going to get some massive benefit from going to the top corner versus going to the bottom corner. Finesse shots, whether you're going low, you're going high. I don't know if I saw the benefit of using finesse shots over using power shots. I was trying my best to analyze finesse shots and figure out a situation or a scenario where they would be more effective via penalty kicks. I don't know. It just seems a little bit slower. I don't feel like you get this massive increase in accuracy. So I don't know what the benefits are of using finesse shots. And from what I noticed with goalkeepers, they saved more of my finesse shots than they saved with the power shots. Plain and simple. I'm calling this section the in-between zone. So if you're not able to hit the top corner or the bottom corner, you're putting it somewhere in between the goalkeeper and the corner, which will be easier to do in terms of aiming. There's less risk involved, but they were definitely less effective. Keepers are making saves. Sometimes if the keeper stayed in the middle, I feel like he was still able to get a hand. If the keeper dove left or dove right and it was the correct guess, regardless of if I hit a green time finish, if it was a little bit on the orange end, if I didn't use a time finish, keepers are making saves consistently. And that tells me you're going to get a major benefit if you're able to take penalty kicks and hit those corners. And at the same time, it's going to be a detriment if you're caught in the in-between zone, because technically the goalkeepers don't necessarily have to move the same way. I'm just thinking from a competitive standpoint and also how people are going to use goalkeeper movement via penalty kicks. You're always looking to take away more than one option. So if somebody doesn't hit it perfectly, maybe you sidestep slightly with your goalkeeper left or right, and you can save the middle and you can save the right. Or you could save the middle and you could save the left if it's not directly in the corner, which puts pressure on your opposition when taking penalty kicks. Make sense? We've talked penalty kicks. Use the comments. I know you're going to have questions. I will get back to everyone. And I also experimented with the chip shot on penalty kicks, which I enjoyed that you had more control. How effective? I think it's going to take some time. At the end of the day, the keeper's going to have to dive one way or the other. If you're new to the channel, it's free to subscribe, and I have a lot more content come for you ASAP.
Watching my step gram froze. Most my day spent alone. Same with my bro, he knows. Gotta pay dues. Walking in mud, you can check my shoes. Tryna bite this, might chip your tooth. Tryna come with you, fake no room. When I made that deal, they should go and pay bills.